Hi, everybody. I hope you can hear me okay.
Yes,
Can
Patty.
hear you.
Yay! Can you see me?
See
Very
you.
beautiful, very beautiful face of yours. Yes.
You say that now. No, I'm sitting in another office because the air conditioner wasn't working in that other office. And last week I almost melted in there. Remember? I walked in there this morning. I was like, nope, not doing it. Not today. All right. How's everybody doing? Yay. I have new news. I have a new law for us and what that's going to mean to us. Before I go any further, I beg you to please write a letter to your congressman, specifically in regards to Senate Bill 1277, and send them all to Newsom's office. No joke, no joke. Okay, as simply as I could state what's going on is he has to make a decision by the 1st. So this week, I think he's going to do it on Friday. If they're going to allow wage garnishments for any tenant that makes less than $42 an hour. So that's up on Newsom's desk now. He has to make a decision on the bill, I believe, by the 1st. So we need to be writing letters to his office, calling his office, telling him to veto 1277. As simply as I could explain it to you guys, there would be no repercussions for landlords that had a dishonest tenant. What am I trying to say? We wouldn't be able to do collections on them if they didn't pay us. If we evicted them and put them in collection, we wouldn't be able to do the collections. We wouldn't be able to put in a wage garnishment. There's a lot of things that we wouldn't be able to do if this bill passes. So I beg you, it's detrimental to our business. If there's no way for us to collect on a bad debt, are we going to continue to offer our properties for rent? If all the risk is on us and there is no reward and no recourse, are we going to continue to participate? No. They don't think about those types of things. So I'm asking you, please, pretty please with sugar on top. Call Governor Newsom's office. Tell him that we can't have this wage garnishment bill. This is detrimental to our industry. And if there's no recourse for us as landlords, we're not going to continue to put our properties out there. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to continue to try to rent to somebody if I have no recourse. In other words, as simply as I can explain this to you guys, and you're like, what is Patty talking about? What is this 1277 garbage? Here's what I'm trying to tell you. They're trying to pass a bill right now. It's on Governor Newsom's desk right now, okay? We need to call him. We need to send emails. We need to send letters. We need to do everything that we can to stop Senate Bill 1277 from passing. 1277 would basically says, and I'm not quoting, this is at a little blonde brain, okay? That unless a tenant makes $42 an hour or more, we can't garnish their wages if they don't pay us. Do you have a tenant that makes $42 an hour or more? I don't. We wouldn't rent to somebody that made less than $42 an hour because we would have no recourse. There would be no way to collect on the debt owed. Paying attention yet? Are you guys understanding what I'm saying? If we as landlords can't garnish wages after because they failed to pay us, are we going to keep renting out our property? No. So please, I beg you, get on the bandwagon. It takes our voices and it takes us all to get together as an army and drop our arsenal on them, okay? But we need to be calling Governor Newsom's office. We need to be sending him emails. We need to be writing letters to him and his staff, asking him to veto 1277, okay? That's number one I want to talk to you about. I got a few things today. We got a new law. Hold on, let me read our notes. Hi, Val. It's Senate.
Patty, wait.
Yes.
I think you mean 1477, Patty.
Thank you. Thank you. You're spot on.
1477.
Thank you. I don't know what I'd do without you guys. I can only do this because of you guys, and I can only remember so much in my little blonde brain. So when I misspeak or give a bad bill number, call me out on it. Please help correct, because we're all a team and I count on you guys to keep me in line. Yes, they do think about those things so they can buy our properties at first. Yes, Melanie, spot on. Are the politicians know what they're thinking and doing? It is insane. Ivana, please pay attention. There'll be a test on this later. I'm just kidding. We're 78% tenant occupied in the state. And I need to do some research because a friend of mine brought to my attention that I haven't reassessed that since the beginning of COVID. So we could have lost a bunch of tenants. We could have gained a bunch more with our open borders since Biden's been in office. With that being said, currently the state of California is 78% tenant occupied. 78%. They are the majority of votes and we are the minority. So they make all the laws protecting them and nothing protecting us. And that's why California is the way that it is right now. We're just outnumbered, simply said. Okay, just so you understand the why. And then I'm about to tell you guys a new law that passed last week. So buckle up. And I wish my sisters were on here today. Let me look and see if they are. Because if they are, they'll tell you. She told me last week, I can't stand listening to you anymore, Patty. Every week when I get on there, you're telling us some other bad news. You're telling us about some other right we lost. Well, here comes another one. Tenants are now allowed to supply their own credit report to the landlord when screening applicants. You guys got that? Did that click? Because I know right now everybody's going. And if you're not doing this, you're typing to me. What did you just say? Oh, see, here it comes. Here it comes. They're typing. They're busy typing. Hey, Patty, what's going on? Okay, let's see. Who piped up first? How the F does that work? Hi, Melanie. You're paying attention. What they are trying to stop from happening, and is please hear me out, and we all have opinions. God knows I have one too, and I'll try my best to keep mine to myself. Only I think you guys tune in every week just to see what my opinion is, but hey, what do you want? Okay. So tenants can now provide their own credit report for screening purposes. You and I and Melanie know for a fact that tenants are going to use Photoshop and other altering apparatuses to give us the best looking credit report they can provide. You guys all know if a tenant provides a credit report, it's shit, right? I mean, I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. It can be used for toilet paper. What they are trying to stop is they're trying to stop the unqualified applicant from being charged $50 5 times in 1 week because they put out 5 applications. Now that costs them $250. They don't meet anyone's criteria, so nobody's still renting to them, and they're $250 short now, going into a second week with nowhere to live. You understand? Does this click? When you think about it that way, it makes more sense. Look at it if you're, pretend for 5 seconds. No, let's pretend for 5 minutes that you're a tenant and you need to find a place to move right away. Your FICO score is 535 or 585. Okay, you're low income housing, you have a job, you're doing everything you can, and you're having to spend $50 a pop every time you're getting your credit ran. And now you've done that 6 times in this last week. That's what they're trying to stop, because that tenant is bleeding money and still being told no. So what the law is now is they can provide their own credit report. And what that does is it stops landlords from passing that expense on to the tenant. That is all it stops. Okay, so don't panic. don't freak out, okay? We just can't charge them to run their credit. Yes, they provided us with a credit report. We have to accept that, but we don't have to look at any information that's on it. We can still run our own. We just can't pass the expense on to the tenant. Got it?
Does it mean that we cannot charge, let's say, $45 for reviewing that application either?
Bingo. I'm trying to find out right now because right before I started this class, I asked the attorney, hey, I know that we have to disclose our hard costs and our soft costs in an application receipt, meaning we charge $35 to run their credit, and the other money we charged, the other $15 was for our time. That's our soft costs in the office for whoever we hired to process that application. That's why we charge that expense. I don't know that we're going to be able to charge them soft costs anymore. We cannot charge them hard costs if they provide their own credit report. But come on, you guys, if a tenant ever gives you their own credit report, it is toilet paper, okay? That's about what it's good for. Why do I say that? Because they can go on Photoshop and put anything they want on their credit report, and you're not going to know unless you run your own. So when everybody starts talking crap and everybody starts panicking of, we can't charge tenants credit reports anymore, just know it's an expense that now you have to incur. And I hope that makes sense to you. In other words, don't get caught up in the bureaucracy and the bullshit of them having to provide their own credit reports now. Just smile and say thank you and run your own and you pay for it. Okay, but then you have the sense of security of knowing that what your tenant, what the applicant handed you versus what reality is matches or it doesn't match. If it doesn't match, you're already up against a nice little oops. You understand what I'm saying? Does anybody have any questions about that? I saw that we have somebody that just hopped on. So I just want to give a few minutes, wait for her to hop on, and then I'm going to recap because she really needs to know the information that I just gave out because of the property that she owns. So I'm going to do a quick recap in just a couple of seconds here, making sure that we're all on the same page. So far today, we've discussed two things. Can anybody tell me what two things they are? One's a new law and one's a proposition. Okay, so Allie, I just saw you hop on. We're asking everybody. Yep, thank you, Arlene. Thank you, you guys, for keeping those numbers straight for me too. Allie, we're asking everyone to contact Governor Newsom's office, okay? Whether you send them an email, whether you call them, get everybody you know to do it. And we're pulling all stops. They're trying to pass Senate Bill 1477. I got it right this time, thanks to my team out there. It would stop us from doing wage garnishments from landlord tenant for any tenant that made less than $42 an hour. Let's face it, we don't have tenants that make $42 an hour, just saying. They make less than that, so it would stop us from doing wage garnishment. So we don't want that because then there's no recourse for non-payment. Yes, we could evict them, that gives our house back, but yes, okay. So we're just begging everyone to please contact Governor Newsom's office, send him an email. He's got to make a decision by Friday. Okay, so that's our number one important thing. The number two important thing that I wanted to make sure you were aware of is tenants can now provide their own credit report for screening purposes. Right about now, I can see Allie. She's going, wait, what did Patty just say? Wait, what? Oh, no. Yeah, there we go. Don't panic on it. I want you to think of it in a different aspect. If you have a tenant, let's pretend I'm a tenant with a 585 FICO score and I need to move yesterday. And every time I go apply somewhere where I'm not qualified, but I still need to move, they're charging me $50 to run my credit app. So now I've spent $250. I still don't have a place to live and I got nothing to show for it. Makes sense? So what they're trying to do is they're trying to help that person And that person is going to continually bring you a credit report, right? I know everybody's panicked, okay? Don't panic on this law, you guys. This is a no-brainer. All it means is we can't charge a credit screening fee to tenants anymore for running their credit. If we still want to run their own credit report to see if there's an LLPOF issue going on here, LLPOF, write it down, LLPOF. If somebody wants to know what that means, I will tell you what LLPOF means. But LLPOF would then, it gives you the right to look at what they gave you versus what's actually true. So with that being said, LLPOS, and it's not POS. POS could be a point of sale. It could be a proof of service. It could be a piece of caca, okay? LLPOF is liar, liar, pants on fire. See, in the property management office, we can't say things in front of each other, in front of a client that would tip them off that we're talking crap about them, right? So a manager may look at another manager in a brief instance and say, it's an LLPOF. I'll take care of it. And then we're going through the paperwork. That's a quick code to tell my coworker that these people are liar, liar, pants on fires. Okay. So it's, yes, it is a office code for liar, liar, pants on fire. And we usually see that in the screening opportunities. So yes, I might turn to Hilda and say, yes, this applicant wants to apply for the Sherwin property. Would you process their application? I believe it's a LLPOF. Liar, liar, pass on fire. So yes, we use codes with each other in our office to get by and make sure that everybody's functioning on the same page. Sometimes we use our coworkers to play good cop, bad cop. Done that plenty of times. You got to do what you got to do. Okay, let me go backwards now and look at our notes. What if the credit reports don't match? What would you do? They still have to meet your criteria. They still have to meet your criteria. So think about that, okay? I don't know what the new law is. I'll look that up, Anna, and let you know. I have to read the bill with the attorney anyway, because now that we can't charge our hard costs, I want to see if we can charge our soft costs. So, okay, we still have a credit screening fee. It's not for a credit report if you provide your own, but we do still charge $25 for our office to process the application. Okay, see what I mean? So what I'm trying to find out is if that's a possibility. Make sense to you guys? So what I need to do is I need to pull up the bill when our meeting's over, read the bill again, go to one of the attorneys with the bill, and then ask them. I can't ask an applicant to pay my hard costs, which would be the actual cost of running the credit report, but can I charge them my soft costs for my time? So that's a big one on there. I want to see what we can do with that because I too am curious. I too am interested and I want to see what's going on. Allie, I just got your question. Let's see. What we do is we ask for all of their documentation to see if they even qualify it, and we run credit and collect money if they do. If they don't meet our requirements, we don't move to the next step and we will not charge. I used to do the same thing, just so you guys know, and I'm on board with you, Allie. We did something at our front desk called a quick screen. Okay, so the receptionist or whoever's collecting the application is looking for specific things. Do we have money? Do we have pay stubs? Are we showing where there's pay stubs? Are they income qualified? Do they make 3 times the amount of their portion of the rent? Okay, real quickly, you're going to add up the money and then I would look at them and say, okay, you make 3 times the amount of the rent. It looks like you've provided all the documentation that I would need. Thank you very much for applying. We'll get back to you. I don't know where you are in line. There could be one in front of you. I just don't know yet. People apply online as well. So we'll see what happens about first come, first serve, and we'll keep you posted as to the process. Hope that helps you guys. We use smart moves so the tenant pays them, not us. I suppose this may change. It's not, I love you for that. I suppose this may change. No, it changed already. If you log in there right now, it's probably telling you that you cannot charge the tenant may not have to pay if they provide their own credit report. Don't know. This is a new law. This just happened this week. No, end of last week. Okay. Come on, you guys. We get new laws every time the wind blows. This only applies to residential applications for tenancy. Does not apply to commercial, does not apply to industrial, does not apply to anyone else that would charge you to run your credit. And I don't know if anybody else, who else charges you to run your credit? I'm just asking because I don't know. I know, like, if you go to apply for a car, they don't charge you to run your credit. They're trying to make the sale. Same thing with credit cards and things like that. I don't know of anybody else that charges you to process a credit application. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't think of anything that you would go apply for and they would charge you to run your credit. If you go buy a house, they don't charge you. Actually, I think they charge you like $20, but it's all in that hidden paperwork and in your escrow stuff. You know what I mean? All that stuff your lender does. So I'm sure your lender charges you for a credit report, right? But who else charges you for a credit screening fee? And now that I think about it, they probably all do, but they don't charge you at hello like we do in our industry. They charge you at the back end at goodbye. So when they're putting together all your loan details, they're going to throw in the $40 credit screening expense, right? They're going to throw that into the loop of expenses. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if you're going to be able to hide it, Allie. That's one of the things that I'm trying to find out, because hear me out. The law a month ago said that we could charge hard and soft costs to our tenants for screening. So now if they provide their own credit report, I can't charge them hard costs, but can I still charge them my soft costs for taking the time to screen their application? That's what I'm trying to find out. So I have an appointment with the attorney as soon as this little meet and greet's over today, so that I can read it, come back to them and see if we can come up with an answer there. Because if we can still charge a screening fee instead of a credit screening fee, then so be it. I'm sure we'll do that. But we're just going to have to wait and see how that plays out. I don't have the answer. The law's too new. And all I do is try to feed you information as soon as I get it. I don't know if we can do a processing fee. In my professional opinion, I think it would be unethical. I mean, the law says we can't charge you for a credit screening fee, but I'm going to charge you to process your application. I don't think anybody does that. Not even a lender. So it might have to do with landlord tenant law. It might have to do with the credit laws. I mean, I'm going to have to do some research here, folks, not just a little bit. I'm going to have to do a lot of it. Does anybody have anything else that they want to talk about? And please, I beg you, remember that you must, required to, have to register all of your unincorporated units in LA City by the end of this month. You have till Friday, folks. 2 days. You got 2 more days, Thursday and Friday, to register your units with the Los Angeles County Consumer and Business Affairs Housing and Tenant Protections Program. If you are in the unincorporated cities of LA County, you must register your units by Friday. I have no doubt they're going to run it just like they run LARSO. And if you want to serve a 3-day notice to pay rent or quit, you have to have a copy of your registration in order to serve the notice. Okay. Charging them $50 for the application stops me from being swamped with fraudulent applications. I know. So what I'm trying to say to you is we can't charge for applications if they're providing their own. I get you. This is going to throw a monkey wrench in many of our programs because as soon as I read that, Anna, my head started spinning. I see where that's an issue. I see where that's a problem. I hear you. I'm paying attention. I'm taking notes. I'll come up with the process and procedure and a plan of action. Trust me. Hilda knows I always come up with a plan of action or a process and procedure. It's by design. Absolutely. If you think that they didn't design this, you're sadly mistaken. I'm trying to think of what other legislation we're up against right now. It's by design, Anna, definitely by design. I don't have any other bills that are pending right now that have me extremely concerned. In fact, I'm beside myself, okay? And I'll tell you why. In this industry, I learned that I've seen my own trend, okay? And how the trend goes is for landlord-tenant laws, we'll have 1 year where we just get pummeled with them. We get 32 new laws in January. And then the following year, we have like 4, okay? This January 23 should be a heavy hitting year on law changes. And I don't see that many on the board. I mean, in 2020, we got the statewide rent control and then COVID hit. So we didn't see a whole lot happen in 2021. And we didn't see a whole lot happen at the beginning of 2022. I mean, we weren't coming out of the gate with, oh, this new law, this new law. So I got a feeling come 2023 January, it's past due for us to have a whole list of them. But I don't see them sitting on the docket to be approved or made into law. So it's kind of weird. Does that make sense? Okay, I'll get off this subject. Well, we could charge some different report that might show previous evictions. But you understand what I'm getting at is they're trying to take our tools away from us. And I got this great theory. If I can't garnish a tenant's wages for not paying me, then my mortgage company shouldn't be able to garnish my wages for not paying them. And they're not going to garnish my wages. They're just going to foreclose. So I wish I had the answers for you. It's bureaucracy and bullshit at its finest. I was more than disgusted. And yes, I said disgusted. When the 3-man team voting to terminate the COVID pandemic in LA County, 2 of them voted to cancel COVID on December 31st, and 1 of them voted against it. They have voted to go ahead and go into phase 3 and have all these additional protections for tenants. And this one council member's comment was, if we don't keep protecting them from COVID, the landlords are going to make them all homeless. And we have a big enough homeless problem in this country. So your mentality is to not allow us to evict them and just to lose our homes to foreclosures? That's your mentality? Yeah. It's people like that that shouldn't be leading us. Just saying. City of LA condo. Are we allowed to increase the rent here? And the tenants' rights different versus house, different versus apartment, different versus condo? Absolutely. If you're governed by Larceau, you cannot increase rents. If you are in LA County in the unincorporated cities of LA County, you cannot increase rents. If you are in an incorporated city in LA County and your tenant has not been affected by the COVID pandemic, then you can do a rent increase. So you could possibly be able to increase the rents as long as you're not governed by LARSO. And I don't know what year your condo was built, so I'm not going to answer that question for you. If you're not governed by RSO, you can do a rent increase in LA County. And the reason I say that is because RSO now governs all of the unincorporated cities within the county. I'm trying to let somebody in and I got an itch on my forehead. And I put my hair up in a ponytail today, but it doesn't show up on the thing. So it kind of looks like I'm bald or something. I don't know. I tried, you guys. So you have RSO on this condo, if I'm not mistaken, just by the date parameter. Is that correct? And then just to let you guys know, next week I will be on, no problem. And next Friday, I actually have a webinar with AGLA. And then the following week, I won't be here on the 12th. So I'm gonna push our Wednesday with Widget to Thursday. So we'll probably do that on the 13th, just to give you guys a heads up. Okay, and I'll send out an email telling everybody, I just want to give you the heads up. Well, I guess when I say not LARSO, we don't have the certificate requirement. So if you're exempt from RSO, then you should be able to increase rent. If you are governed by RSO and they control you, then you cannot increase rent. Hi, Tony. I haven't seen you or talked to you in forever. It will be a good idea. Oh, let's see what Tony has to say. This girl knows tenant or LARSO. She's been dealing with it for decades. Okay. It would be a good idea for everyone trying to do any evictions after 12/31/22 to read chapter 8.52 under the rent stabilization and tenant protections. A lot of things are being added or changed, so stay updated before proceeding. I have a copy of a portion of it and it's 31 pages. They're usually really long, so I agree with Tony here. I want to do an owner move-in for my mom. If the person is advanced age, she's 83, then the previous tenants have the right to return even after the 3 years have passed. There are more stipulations with other types of evictions, just letting everyone know. Thank you, Tony. She's talking about the city of LA, RSO, and the changes in the city. And just remember now, RSO now governs 144 cities in LA County. All of the unincorporated cities of LA County just got adopted by LARSO. So as nicely as I could say this, LARSO has spread like cancer. It is no longer in the city of Los Angeles. It is now in 144 unincorporated cities in LA County. I raised the rent effective January 2022. I intend to raise the rent again effective 1/20 of 2023. Can I serve notice now to take effect in January of 2023? I wouldn't. It's just a 30 days, so I'd wait till December to do it. I'm filing for eviction soon and I want to lock in the increase just in case I'm not able to evict. I don't trust the system. I completely and totally agree. Don't serve the notice until December. And it would be a 30-day. When can we start reporting late payments to a credit company and how is that done? That only applies for subsidized housing. low-income tenants, tax credit properties. And how it works is the tenant, there's a company out there that helps do it. And what they do is they charge the tenant $10 every month to report it on their credit report. So there's an expense to the tenant for being able to do that and put it on the credit report. For everyone else, we would love to put it on their credit report. We don't have that kind of power. It's only for low-income housing, subsidized housing, and to give the tenants that are having a hard time a leg up so that those positive reports show on their credit. I personally think it's discrimination, because how come they're doing that for low-income tenants and not even Steven for everyone across the board? Because I know some of us landlords that would love to put delinquent rents on someone's credit report, and we can't. So in my opinion, that law is discriminatory because it doesn't allow equal opportunity for everyone. It only allows the benefit to help someone that is low income. Doesn't help me. Just saying. Curious why I should not serve the rent increase notice until December, referring to my question above. If you're going to raise rents in January of 2023, and you're only required to give a 30-day notice, wouldn't you serve that notice in December? I'm just saying. You don't have to give a 60-day. You don't have to give a 90-day. It's not going to be over 10%. So it would just be a 30-day notice, and December would be in time to get you there for January. That's why I said it that way. If I said something wrong, let me know, okay? Because maybe I missed something. I am human. Anna, if an applicant does provide their own credit report and tell them that I will still run my own, I know that I need a wet signature to do so. And if they refuse, can I reject the application? They still have to provide us all that information. They still have to sign and say that we can check their references, contact their previous landlords, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. They still are going to have to sign that we can do that. They're still going to have to fill out our paperwork, our paper application. If they don't do that, then they didn't apply. Are you trying to tell me, Val, right now, right here today, that a tenant is an LLPOF? Again, a POS, I got it, LLPOS. And I'm pretty sure that doesn't mean proof of service or point of sale. Rephrasing my question, does serving the rent increase notice now change anything? Is it legal? Is it illegal? The reason that I'm telling you to wait is if you're in an area that is, I wouldn't even serve the notice until the moratorium expires. And that's me talking out loud. Okay, hear me out. Just hear me out. If my landlord raised my rent during a time that there wasn't any rent increases allowed, but it wasn't to take effect until January, I would still argue it. I would still not pay that increase because I was served it during a protected period. How can they raise the rent if the law says they can't? So there could be an argument that it was served during a time where it wasn't allowed. If you're incorporated, then there shouldn't be an issue. If you're in incorporated LA County, you can raise the rents now. In unincorporated, you cannot. So I'm sorry, I misspoke. Geraldo, I wasn't aware that you weren't governed by the unincorporated area. You're not governed by any of it. You can serve the notice now, letting them know that the increase will take effect January. You're correct. I was missing that part. Sorry, my bad. I am human. I try to teach you guys how to err on the side of caution and stay out of litigation. Okay, so let me try this just to help you understand. If there's a law right now that says you cannot do a rent increase and you serve an until January 2nd, okay? If you serve the notice while it's not allowed, is the notice any good? I don't want to find out. I don't want to waste the money to go through a court trial to find out that I served a notice why they were protected, even though it didn't take effect until it was that time period. Remember, my job is to have you guys err on the side of caution, completely transparent. Okay, so for me, I'm going to serve the notice on January 2nd to take effect on February 1. Got it? Or on January 1st, I'm going to serve them to take effect on February 1, because then I didn't even serve the notice during any restrictions. See how that worked? If, how do I want to say this? I don't go to court unless I know I'm going to win. I try to make my moves on my chessboard with such precision that it can't be questioned. Does that make sense? If somebody says, oh, COVID's protected, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wait till 6 months after the pandemic period ends, and then I'm going to do something on the 7th month. Because if I wait 180 days, it can't possibly be retaliation. So remember, my job is to keep you guys as safe as I possibly can and not expose you to being on the fence, okay? I want it very clear that you guys are safe, safe, safe. So in areas that you currently cannot do a rent increase and you must wait until January to do a rent increase, don't even serve the notice until January. Okay, that way nobody can argue that you did anything when you shouldn't have. There's no room for argument, is how I try to set you up. And I hope that makes a little more sense. Hi, Patty. Do we still owe interest on security deposits, LARSO, during pandemic? Yes, you do. I don't know what the percentage is. I'd have to go look. Patty, do you think Mrs. Cruel and Mrs. Solis will come up with the blocking rent increases for another year? They lost 3-2 votes. So as of now, we will end the moratorium by 12/31. It will end on 12/31, Tony. They redacted phase 3. So remember the phase 3 when they were going to open it up and let us start doing evictions for unauthorized occupants, unauthorized pets, failure to allow entry, and phase 3 was in place? That has been redacted. In other words, it no longer exists. There is no phase 3. Everything ends at the end of phase 2 on New Year's Eve. There will be no further extensions. There is no additional protections going into 2023 in the 7 most southern counties of California, even in the city of LA. Okay, pandemic officially ends for LA County on New Year's Eve. There's no additional extensions or protections, and phase 3 has been redacted. How much time is needed to serve a rent increase on a Section 8 tenant? 90 days in San Bernardino County. Is it 30 days or 90 days? It's 90 days. And just so everybody's aware, and then I'll get the next couple questions. We had a law change a few years ago, and I'm writing an article. It should be out for the time of the trade show, for Agla's trade show. And I don't know what to call it yet. So if you guys can help me come up with a name, it would be most appreciated. But it's basically the last 10 or 15 years of laws and law changes and which ones you may have missed. So I want to talk about the eviction masking law, because a lot of people still don't know that evictions don't show on tenants' credit reports. I want to talk about all those laws. So I don't know if you would call it looking back over the last couple decades in rental housing, but that's what I want to do. I want to write an article about what happened in the past 10, 15, 20 years in the laws in rental housing. So if you guys can help me come up with a title for it, it would be greatly appreciated. That's another reason why I want to serve the rent increase notice now. Yes, they are garbage, hands down. So does that mean we can do a rent increase in Larso? Yes, and I'm not sure of the rate. Please remember it changes with the CPI. Currently, your CPI for LA County is 7%. No joke. %7 is the current. And remember, that'll change again in April, and it only went up higher. The economy just keeps going up, right? The almighty dollar. So it's going to be even higher for 2023.
So in Larso, incorporated cities, you can increase rent or no?
Right now, I wouldn't do it. It's not worth the risk in Larso. If it's governed by Larso, the answer is a big no. And please remember, unincorporated cities are now governed by Larso, and we cannot do a rent increase on anything in an unincorporated city of LA County. It's not allowed at this time. And the biggest thing I could tell you guys is please register your units. Even single family residences must be registered by Friday. Okay. So if you have something in LA County and you need to find out if it's under unincorporated or incorporated, please call us. We will help you. I'm sorry, I stole somebody else's office. I'm sitting in their chair and my feet don't touch the floor. It's making me extremely uncomfortable. Tricks and treats for landlords. Yep. Is the registry in LA unincorporated only applied for residential? Correct. Correct. No commercial, no industrial. It applies to residential dwellings only. The city of LA inspector has required that our tenants move items from their garage spaces, hazardous materials, as well as other items and junk. The tenants have done nothing so far, and we've given them a move by date and said we would come remove the items for them. Probably not legal. What's next? 3-day curable breach of covenant to comply with the governmental agency. You're welcome. Easy peasy, baby. 3-day cure or quit to comply with the governmental agency. Because I'm sure the city or the county, whoever, I got you, baby, all day long. As long as you understand what I said, then you're good.
I have a question, Patty.
A 3-day now. Curable based on the mess. Clean it up. And go ahead, David, I heard you.
Yes, today I had a very hard time with a Section 8 caseworker would not release information regarding a potential tenant. And she said, no, our management doesn't let us give you anything except for the name and address of the previous landlord. And this is the way it's been past 13 years. So is there any really a solid law that I could push it forward to her or ask for the supervisor? What is the solution if the caseworker doesn't want to release it?
Then then you can't verify their previous rental history. That would be a big fat no.
Yeah, but so I cannot force them basically to.
It's the first I've been hearing of a caseworker not willing to help a tenant get a property rented.
Yeah, well, I found out from the neighbors that she had grandkids that came, fought all over. I rejected them anyway, but she would not let me have that information. She would mask, she was masking everything.
Do you know why?
No, go ahead.
She knew you wouldn't rent to her if you saw it.
Well, my question is, there is no way we could basically by law force them to say it. If they don't want to say it, they don't want to say it. That's it, right?
Well, and that would be no different than if you called a landlord and they said, I'm not giving you any information on this tenant. You understand? So if they don't want to give you any information, it's because what they have to say isn't good. Paying attention yet? It's kind of hard for give somebody all bad news when you have to do it in the nicest way possible. So you just don't do it at all so that you don't have any exposure. That's what Section 8 just did to you. It is allowed. It is not a requirement. They do not have to do anything. But if they won't give it to you, my question becomes, why? Remember who they work for. They won't give you the information in a tenant file and say it's against their company policies. They could be hiding something. They may be trying to keep information from you. And yes, I'm speaking in no absolute terms.
Thank you, Patty.
No problem, anytime. Registration is just for rented single-family homes, not owner occupied or non-rented homes, correct? No, that is not correct. Registration is required for any residential dwelling within the city. Doesn't matter if it's vacant or occupied, as long as it's a rental property. Okay? If it's your house, you live there, nobody else lives there but you don't have to register that. It is for investment or income properties. Okay, and you have to register your apartment communities based on doors. I believe it's $30 per door. So if you have a 10-unit apartment complex, it's $30 per door because those are just cause units. So it would cost you $300 to register your units, and you need to do it by Friday. If it was exempt from statewide rent control, then you have to pay $90 per door. So $30 per door on just cause only, and then $90 on all other units within the county. And I got a feeling we're going to have to provide those certificates of the registry in order to serve notices in the future, just like LARSO does. It doesn't say that in their bill yet, but you watch, you mark my words. At some point, you're going to have to show your registration in order to serve a 3-day. It doesn't say it yet, but it's coming, folks. My tenant is still not paying. Have you ever used mediation? I'm trying to work through the county mediation services. Geraldo, what city is this one in? Because I'm being successful in evictions in LA City. Evict. 3-day pay rent or quit, start eviction. No joke, start eviction now. If they don't self-certify in Huntington Park, give it to me. Let's go. I got you. A lot of property, a lot. Good, get them, let's get them. I'm fixing as soon as and I missed that. Yep, fix the window and let's get them out. Let's do this 3-day. Kern County, we've briefly discussed this before, but I need to hear it again. So one of our rental homes was leased to 2 guys about 4 years ago. Problem number 1, running through a previous manager. Now we manage and have not provided a new agreement. Problem number 2, they moved a new guy in. Problem number 3, the original tenants went to jail. Problem number 4, how do I know there's going to be a problem number 7 on this? Problem number 4, the new guy is lying to us. He says he's the only one living there. However, his relative visits often with children. Problem number 5, I asked the new guy to complete an application, which he did. I know he wants a new agreement with the old guys off, but I haven't done that. What are the pros and cons of creating a new agreement and removing the felons? Hang on, LA City single family residence doesn't need registration, not rent control, correct? If it's in incorporated, you don't have to register it. If it's in unincorporated, You must register it with the county. J-Tour, that's on your own phone. If you're only seeing one line, it's because you have your text or your font set really big on your phone. So you can go into your phone settings and change your font size. And I only know that because I have the same problem because I'm getting older and my eyes are not staying young and rejuvenated. Okay, here we go, Val. I'm coming back to you. He wants a new agreement with the old guys off, but I haven't done that. What are the pros and cons? Here's the issue. If the old guys show up and want their security deposit back, security deposits are allocated when the property is vacated, simply said. So we don't allocate any security deposits until we have a vacant unit. We haven't had a vacant unit yet. So unfortunately, no security deposits need to be allocated at this time. At the end of this shit show, you have to put everyone's name on the check unless they've given to you in writing that they have no further interest in the property and no longer live there. Then you can remove them from the check for the security deposit. Other than that, it all stays on there. Got it? You have to keep the names of the original tenants on there because you had a contract with them. Because legally, they are entitled to part and or all of that security deposit. So I actually had a house once that had a bunch of roommates, and then it was just the couple there, and then they ended up with more roommates, and then they were back to the couple there, and then they vacated. And they were very upset with me when 11 people's names were listed as payees on the check that I gave them back for their security deposit. 11 names. She said, Patty, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't even know how to contact these people. I said, that's not my problem. I have to follow the law. And the law says that I must issue a check to all parties. So everyone's name's on it. Okay, but how do I go cash it? You want the easy way? Go deposit it in your bank's ATM. Is that all I need to do? I can't tell you that, but I'm sure the ATM isn't going to argue with you. I deposited in your ATM. You have to name everybody that you've had contract with. Okay. Allie, don't laugh at me. It works. Okay, you guys, the ATM doesn't argue with them. They can deposit whatever they want. They think it's this crisis and it's not.
I'm
Then
just
you-
curious, how did you put 11 people's name on one check?
I wrote it in very small font, no joke. I think it was in 10-point font. No joke. I had to put 11 people's names on a check and I put it in 7-point font and I had 2 rows of who the check was payable to. And she thought I was crazy. She thought I was a Looney Tune. And I just kind of, and you don't have to always try to help them. You know, we should always try to help them. You know, due diligence, help everybody. But when you got that jerk tenant, I don't know, that's a you problem, not a me problem. I followed the law. But all they need to do is go deposit it in an ATM. The ATM isn't going to argue. It's going to say, okay, we're taking your check. See, I got secrets. I got tricks. Hi, Patty, are you available Monday, 6:30 to talk? Possibly. I almost want to tell you no. Call me earlier in the day on Monday. In fact, if you guys need me at all next week, feel free to bother me during normal business hours. But at 5 o'clock, don't bug me no more. And I only say that because I'm going on vacay and I'll be on the other coast and I don't want to be taking your phone call at 9:30 at night because that's what time it'll be out there. So call me at all during the day. If you guys need me at all next week, just reach out to me and give me a ring, okay? Please. All right, does anybody need anything else? Otherwise, I'm going to end this for today. Uh-oh, I doubt the felons are expecting any deposit back. I even got them 6 months of free rent from Housing is Key, but the new guy wants a new agreement. I understand, but you still have to name the old guys on the security deposit check. Because remember this, Val, the new guy hasn't given you a deposit. That's not his deposit money. It's those other guys' deposit money. Okay, so just keep adding everybody's name to it and do it the way I did it years ago. It works perfect. Put everybody's name on it. Always, always. Oh, thank you guys. Kind of a vacation, but not really a vacation. It's more of a mission. I'm on a mission to go to the East Coast and get the rest of my stuff. All right, you guys, I'm going to let you go. Have a great week. If you need me, please feel free to reach out to me. You guys have a great week. Thank you. And don't forget, they can bring their own credit report. Okay, I'm still trying to figure that one out. I'll have an answer for you guys next Wednesday. Bye, everybody.